Welcome to the Lauren Blackwell channel. Is anybody else wondering why it took so long for this footage of Celeste Rivas to be shown to the public? I'm referring to the footage that was shown by TMZ from the gas station that showed Celeste leaving her house, and it appears that she was in the area around where she would be picked up by a school bus, but it looks like she walked past that or ran past that area and ran towards a car that the owner of the video footage said was waiting in the corner. And it appears that she did not go to school, instead she went someplace else, and this happened in March of 2024, which is a few days before she went missing. I believe she went missing in April of 2024. So TMZ has this footage, and based on what TMZ have said, the police is keeping a very tight lid on this case, which means the police most likely did not release this footage to TMZ themselves. I think TMZ did their own investigation and they were able to obtain this footage from the family of Celeste, because the owner of the gas station who owns the footage originally said that he gave it to Celeste's family in order to help them find their daughter. From what we've gathered, from what Celeste's parents, specifically her mom, have said, they said they reported her missing in 2024, many months ago, and it does not seem like there was a thorough investigation performed. Otherwise, this footage would be in the hands of the police by now. And from 2024 all the way until now, it is September of 2025, and this footage is just now being explored by the police and the public. And it's like, if the police had done their investigation when she was reported missing in 2024, they would have released this footage to the public to let them to at least jog people's memory that may have seen her around that time, just to help with the investigation like they normally do with many other cases. The interview that TMZ did recently, when they were asked why the police were keeping such a tight lid on this, TMZ themselves were surprised and they said that they're not sure. And during the interview, it was highlighted that during the Idaho case, there was a lot of requests being made of the public to try to resolve the issue, and if people were on it, that was not a missing case. So I guess there's a big difference there. That was like blatant crime just committed. There was no question of what crime was committed because the students, all four of them, were right there. They can be seen. But in the case of Celeste, she was missing and she has run away before. So I guess you can say that because of that, the police were not sure if there was any crime that was actually committed, which is why they dragged their feet with the investigation. But the fact that they did not check the cameras many months after an underage girl could not be found by anyone, and they still did not do something as basic as checking the cameras of a gas station, leads me to think that almost no investigation was conducted. And besides this gas station camera, because this gas station appears to be in sort of a residential area, because they said Celeste lived only a few buildings away from where this footage was seen, where she was seen on this footage. So what about the people that live in that area? Most people have doorbell cameras now. I mean, is there more that can be found, especially in the parts after the gas station, so that they can see whose car exactly she went into? There's so many people with cameras these days. Is it that the police does not have access to this, or they haven't looked, or do they have it and are just not revealing what they have to the public? And why is there such a tight lid on this case? That's the part that I don't understand. So like, two things baffle me. One, How did they not get a hold of this camera until just now, or until September of 2025, when TMZ was able to get the footage? Why did they not do such a basic thing in investigating? And what about the other cameras, especially from across the street where the building isn't blocking which car exactly she went into? What about all of those buildings there? There are some businesses around there. There are other houses around that probably have surveillance camera. Like, do the police have access to those cameras, and what did they find in them? And why did it take them so long to begin thoroughly investigate this? I guess we kind of guess why it took so long, because there was no celebrity involved. If a celebrity was not involved in this case, I doubt if the investigation would have taken the turn that it has taken now. There's so many people, especially minorities, that when something happens to them, nobody bothers to really investigate, at least not as thoroughly as they're investigated when a different race goes missing or when something bad happens to them. And we all pay the same taxes, so it's not fair at all for this to be the case. But I guess it's a good thing now that it's been investigated because of the possible involvement of David. And quite frankly, the police have no choice but to move Celeste's case to the forefront, because it has generated so much attention in the media that they cannot ignore this. They cannot keep it at the back burner while they work on a different case. They have to attend to this case and they have to prioritize it, which is what they're doing. And who knows why they're keeping it so hush-hush. But the fact that they're not asking for help from the public is very strange. It's not normal in a missing persons case where it turns out to be this magnitude of foul play, unless they already have every information that they want and they don't need the public getting in and messing things up. So perhaps that's what it is, but it's very unusual that they're not giving anything at all. TMZ has a lot of contacts in police departments where they're able to get information. For instance, with what happened with Kobe Bryant, and there's so many other cases where TMZ is able to get information that the police has not revealed to the public because of their contacts in the police department. I'm not saying that it's a good thing that TMZ has access to this sort of information that's been used in an investigation, because it can sometimes negatively affect the case. But it's strange that even TMZ is having a difficult time getting information about this case. It is very weird. And to think that after all of these months, there isn't a single suspect, not even a person of interest, is insane. It's possible that the police does have a person of interest. They're just being careful in naming that person because they want to be sure that they have all the evidence that they need before they move forward. But not even a person of interest named is usually not a good look. If they have what they need, I don't see why they'll be waiting, but who knows what's going on. I know that they seized a lot of electronic items from David's house, from the place that he was staying, because according to the reports, it was a rental. It was not his actual place. But he was staying there, I think, around the time that Celeste went missing. And they seized a lot of electronic items, which makes sense because they know for a fact that David and Celeste used to communicate electronically through Discord, and getting into their conversation and what they were talking about close to the time that she went missing, I'm sure that will reveal a lot of things. Also, I wonder what her cell phone records would say the moments or the few days before she went missing, because there is no way that whoever was picking her up in that car did not text her to let her know that they were outside, and did they follow up with that? Who was that in that car? There's just so many questions around this case, and I just feel like it's not moving fast enough. It's been almost a year and a half now, and still not a single person of interest. It's like, what is going on? It's giving like there's someone wealthy involved, but you never know, because she was running away from home quite a bit, and it makes you wonder what is going on in her home life. Is there like a stepdad in the picture in her house? Why is she running away? Is it her parents? Is it just the family in general? There's got to be a reason why she keeps running away from home. And on the other hand, it's difficult to think that it has something to do with her home life because of the fact that she was found in David's car. That is the part that really, if something happened to her in her house, which member of her family would have access to David's Tesla to put her in his Tesla? I don't imagine they would have access to just not only his place, but to put her in his Tesla and then drive it elsewhere and leave it. And if David had nothing to do with the disappearance of his car, why did he not try harder to have it be found? I mean, how difficult is it to find an electric car like Tesla that can easily be traced? I mean, there's just a lot that isn't adding up. I feel like there's so many things that could have been done, but it wasn't done because no one tried to do it. Because I can't imagine it can be that difficult to find a missing Tesla, especially a Tesla that isn't dismantled, where all the parts are still in there. I can't imagine how difficult it is to find. Plus, there was a ticket issued to the Tesla, so that alone makes it even easier to find. And then David not really pursuing finding his car. I understand a lot of these celebrities, they have things that they buy and they lose them all the time. There are celebrities that have cars, boats, planes, and they could not tell you where those things are. So I'm not surprised that he didn't know exactly where his Tesla is, but it was reported missing. It's one thing if he was not aware that it was missing at all, but clearly he was aware because it was reported missing or stolen. But then there was no follow-up, and it's just like people just dropping the ball everywhere. So I don't know, this case does not look like it's going to wrap up anytime soon. Everything is just sort of dragging, but who knows. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see who the person of interest or the suspects will be. All fingers are pointing to one person, but with situations such as this, you never really know, because it looks like she sounds like a social person and she probably interacts with a lot of people, so you don't know. But anyway, that's all I have right now on Celeste. I'm just wondering why it took this long for this footage to even be released, even by the family. I'm not sure how long ago the family has had this tape of this surveillance video of her running, but everything is just sort of dragging, and we'll see how it goes. Well, thank you guys for watching. See you in my next one. Bye guys.